Today we have a G35 in shop. The problem we're seeing is the front control panel, or what the dealership calls the audio finisher, is not working. 99% of the time this is not the problem. We have seen a couple of bad ones, usually when someone puts their fist through it because it's not working properly. But we've got it removed from the car, and we're going to show you how to remove the stereo to repair this problem. The problem is the main circuit board within the radio here powers this front panel. This front panel then cannot do any operations and send any signals to operate properly. We got this in the shop, and we noticed that the ribbon cable here also usually has a little blue piece on it. What this does is add some thickness to the connector so that when it goes back into the connector on the front face, that it has more thickness to it to push against the contacts. Obviously it's missing here. If you're in a pinch, we found packing tape cut perfectly to fit the same area. About 4 layers does it. Otherwise we have the part number on our website. You can see if the part's available. Now, to disassemble this radio, we're going to move 4 screws across the front. There's a little pinch fit right here that's going to make this a little tricky to get off, but if we tap on it a little bit, it'll come loose and pop right off, and we'll set this to the side. Next, we're going to have screws along the side, 4 down each side. One, we're trying to remove this cover here, leave the CD changer intact and that portion all intact. So we're going to remove 4 screws, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here down the right side of the stereo. There will be 4 screws on the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4 as well. We've already removed those. 4 on the opposite side, actually 5 on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, only 4. And across the back for this cover, we're going to have 1 in this corner and 2 over on the other side. Now, once you get all those screws out, you can gently pry on along the sides here and get this cover to pop up. This usually will try and attempt to pull the ribbon cable out too, so we're going to pull it back to release it from the glue spot here, and we're going to continue to push this cover up to get access to the main board here, and then set this cover to the side. Next we have here on the bottom of the cassette, which here is on top, 4 screws secure this cassette mechanism in place, and we want to remove this cassette mechanism to get down to the main board. This is very similar to the Murano stereo as well. Usually we see coins in that, and it's a bad power supply. I can point that out for the Murano as well. Now, with these 4 screws removed, this is going to give us access to the motherboard, or the main board. We've seen quite a few problems on this board. We've learned that with time and age to go through a lot of little areas to take care of this, but the one that seems to be most common and pointed out here in the internet happens to be this one surface mount resistor. Let's see if we can get a good close look at it, but it is right in here. Right down in here. There's one main one. It's right next to the surface mount transistor here. It's to the side. Now this one you may find that you can solder it right back down really easy. Sometimes, depending on which side you start with, it usually lifts that component. But that's not the only component we've seen problems with on this board. Then this seems to be the one that's most common. But we've also seen 2 more surface mounts down below the transistor here. These can cause power supply problems. Back here in the very back of the radio, we have 3 more between 2 transistors. This area of the board's that's somewhat warm, and what it does is it causes the solder to go bad. And you're going to refloat solder and clean it up for the 3 up here by the transistor. There's 3 back here in the back. These deal with backlighting. Sometimes you might have problems with backlighting. But if you look at the specific size of this surface mount resistor, you want to look through the radio. There'll usually be 1 or 2 up in here you want to touch, 1 over here as well, 1 up in the front. Sometimes resoldering these surface mount transistors, the main legs on them, also gives good connections. We have 4 surface mounts across the back. 1 here we've seen in the very back sometimes has been loose, and also in many cases there's 1 along the front here that we need to touch up as well. Usually good practice to touch all those up. There are other problems we've seen with this stereo as well. Sometimes the audio is intermittent. If you get down to this point, you're able to test that you can push up and down on this chip. This chip usually causes all audio problems. If you happen to have the stereo that is non-Bose, it's usually a single CD player, we suggest searching for a replacement. We've had no luck repairing that unit. This is how you remove on our website, and how you can repair your Infiniti G35 for AC controls and stereos not responding to controls. Hope this video has been helpful. Please give us a thumbs up. Thank you for watching.